Hi guys, welcome back. Episode 2 of Pure Core. Apologies, my intention was to have this recorded and edited alongside the first video, which is just an intro really, to be honest, nothing too specific. Just kind of outlining what I'm here to do and what I would like to share with you guys. Sorry, I'm a little bit out of breath. Just finished working out. So apologies for the delay on this, but I think it's important to get straight into the important focus of today, which is sacrifice. As I discussed in episode 1, if you got around to watching it, if you didn't, no problem, we're going to cover it. A lot of the details from episode 1, or some of the points from episode 1, in this episode here. The focus, and one of the key points I mentioned in episode 1 was about my journey to this point, to being in front of the camera, to speaking to you today. And one of the things that has been very important throughout that journey is sacrifice. A part of my spiritual awakening, part of my awakening as a man, part of my awakening as an entity, as a being, beyond just being a human, someone who just walks the planet, is sacrifice. Learning the meaning of sacrifice, understanding how to apply sacrifice. Sacrifice, I think, has connotations of scarcity, of lack, of something missing. I think a lot of times when we think of the word sacrifice, what I have found is it's a uniquely valuable tool when it comes to attaining things you want and becoming the person that you want to be. Sacrifice is all important for that aspect of your life. And if you're on this journey that I'm on, this journey of awakening, sacrifice is paramount. And I can most neatly, I guess, describe it for you guys. And this is how I've always described it for myself, with this sentence here. So for me, there is nothing more valuable to the human spirit in the known universe. And I want to emphasize the grandiousness of this statement. There is nothing more valuable to the human spirit in the known universe than sacrifice. And why do I say that? Well, there's two reasons I'm saying that. And I think we have to look at what sacrifice is to truly understand why it has such value to us as human beings. To me, what sacrifice has become is essentially a test of faith. If there's something you want, something you want to prove to yourself, something you want to prove to someone else, if that's how you're set up and you're wired, something you want to prove to the world, however small, however big, the sacrifice you make is a test of faith to show that you are really about that thing that you want to do. So whether it's, the body you want, the goal that you have in mind, whatever that thing is, it's very rare that you are not going to have to sacrifice something in order to attain that bigger thing that you're chasing down. And it has two aspects to it. I think for me, there's a personal aspect to sacrifice, and then there's a altruistic love aspect to sacrifice as well. So for me, it is a test of faith which allows the doer, the sacrificer, to achieve their fullest potential. And it is the act of kindness which allows the doer, the sacrificer, to show their truest love. So for instance, you look at most parents, mothers, children, across history, there's nothing they wouldn't give up for their child. There's nothing they wouldn't sacrifice from their own being, even down to their own life, for their child. And that is an example of true, pure love. So that is the love aspect for me. And similarly, when there's something you want to achieve, you're going to have to give up. Let's use the most simple example, which is something like health and fitness. So I am very into my health and fitness. I'm a big sports fan. I'm into basketball. I'm into football. I'm into running. I'm into MMA. I do everything. Okay. There's not many sports activities that you can do in London that I don't take part in. I'm quite varied when it comes to that thing. So a few years ago, I was off my sports trail. I've gotten back onto it more recently. What was important for me to get my body back in the shape it was when I was in my early 20s was sacrifice. I had to sacrifice time in the gym, working hard to get the calories down, to lose the weight that I wanted to lose. And I had to sacrifice the foods I really enjoy, the fatty, unhealthy stuff, in order to maintain a diet which was more fitting for the lifestyle that I wanted to be, or I was seeing myself in. So those are two elements, two very easy examples of sacrifice that I had to kind of get around in order to get myself to that next stage, that stage I knew I wanted to be at. And it's not easy. Sacrifice is a very difficult thing to do. And the baseline for it is simple. It's letting go of something you want now for something bigger that you want more later down the line. That's the baseline for personal sacrifice. And again, it's not easy. It requires a lot. And if I could bring you, I guess, a more current example that would more align with, me being in front of the camera for you guys today. Before I started this journey, this YouTube journey, one thing that was very important to me is to be very cognizant in my mind. And again, this is not me trying to speak disparagingly about anyone's, recreational activities, but I was a huge weed smoker, ganja, all the time. As soon as I get home from work, light up a spliff, eat some food, chill for a bit, watch something, light up another spliff, chill for a bit, maybe do some graphic design, light up another spliff. So that was my routine a lot. And it's funny now because I don't smoke currently, and it hasn't been that long. I won't, make out like I've been off the weed for ages. No, it's been a very short period of time, probably about a month or so I've been off the weed. I don't miss it. I'm benefiting a lot from being off it. And in fact, I had that most recent portion that I was smoking was only a year long. Before that, I'd had about 3 years completely sober prior to that as well. And I benefit a lot. My dreams come back. You're more cognizant. I'm a bit sharper, a bit more switched on in my thinking and my ability to speak to you. So it was very important I got that down before I embarked on this journey, because I wanted to be operating 100% so that the messages and the teachings and the things that I've learned that I'm trying to share are as clear and there's as much clarity as possible behind these things as I can muster, using, the organic version of me, which I think sometimes weed is a great tool for certain things. And a lot of my best spiritual thoughts, concepts, and ideas have come to me while I've been high. But the reality is, I know that there's certain aspects of myself, my memory, for instance, is not as sharp when I'm smoking. So it's important for me to sacrifice weed, my enjoyment of weed as a substance, as a recreational activity, to be able to start this journey. This journey, to me, is more valuable than weed. This is going to give me more than weed could ever give me. So it was a very easy decision. And this is going to go quite neatly into my next point, which is why we sacrifice, the reasons for sacrifice. And I think I'm going to most neatly describe it with this sentence here. So sacrifice is easiest when it's truly aligned with your universal purpose. What does that mean? So for me, it was easy for me to give up weed when I realized that this is what I needed to be doing, and I needed to be in a very clear mind state in order to get it done in the way that was going to be most beneficial for me and for anyone that I might meet along this journey, speak to, so on and so forth. Purpose is a great word, a key word that you're going to hear me say a lot on this channel as well. The reason I advocate for purpose so much is we all have one. I truly believe every human being has a purpose. I think it's very hard to find your purpose, and I speak to people a lot day to day about purpose, particularly in the workplace, because I think it's very tricky when you're working your day job to align that with a real purpose, because the purpose of your job is really to just earn money so you can have a house over your head and food in the fridge, which is, in Western society, two of the fundamental things for living a healthy, happy life of food and shelter. So what is purpose? In a true sense, well, to me, I describe it as this. Purpose is your fundamental value to the collective / the universe. Let's narrow that into the world, or narrow that into your city or your community. To understand that purpose on that plane, it's this for me. What skills, abilities, or ideas or concepts did the creator give you that you feel within your being most prominently? What did he give you that could be of most value to the collective? Everyone has these. Everyone has a unique perspective, a unique idea, a unique concept, a unique ability that, other people have it too, but you have your own version of it. We're all individuals at the end of the day. So what did he give you that no one else has that is going to make you not everyone's of value, right? But what skills, did he give you that are going to, I think more than anything, fulfill you? I think that's what the reality is. You have a core skill. So my core skill is quite a varied, broad creativity. It manifests itself in photography, in film, in graphic design. One of the things that I'm very strong with is color. Although at the time of speaking, I haven't done thumbnails for this channel. But if they come out as the concept is in my brain, you'll probably say this guy isn't particularly creative at all. But I want to keep things simplistic for this channel, which is why I'm not going to go too crazy. I'll spend ages doing thumbnails, and it's not really the purpose. But the reality is finding your purpose is about understanding who you are, what skills you have, and how you can use those to best serve you, your family, your community, your city, your country, on a grand scale, maybe the whole world, if you're going to be able to get to that level. And there's loads of people who are manifesting things and doing things in that way. For me, this is my purpose. I meet a lot of people, I speak to a lot of people. People always seem to be quite taken aback by the perspective I have. I feel like it's not common to think the way I think. And so I feel it's important that I share that with as many people as possible. Sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's hard. I've come around to the way of thinking that this is the best way for me to do it. Record these videos, share them, send them to people that I think will benefit from them. And in turn, maybe they'll share them with someone else that they think will benefit from them. As you guys will find out, that's all I'm asking people to do. I don't want you to like, comment, share, and subscribe. I just want you to share these with people who you think can benefit. So that leads me on to my next thing. So we're dealing with purpose. When you know what you're supposed to be doing, the journey becomes a lot easier. You realize that your purpose is a fundamental necessity for your well-being. So I think that all of us would probably, I go to work every day and I make the best of it. I have colleagues who are fun and interesting and cool like myself, and we get on very well. We have good conversation, we have good crack, good banter. We're together from 9 till 6, and then we go home, and I'm able to fill that time neatly through conversation and, doing the work as well, of course, and, just getting through the day. But it isn't very purposeful. Of course, I'm fulfilling the needs of someone else. Maybe I'm fulfilling the needs of something which is quite important, depending on what your job is. But at the end of the day, it never really felt like work in a traditional sense was very much aligned with my purpose, the core skills that the creator gave me. And I think for everyone, there's a level of finding that for yourself and allowing that to guide your decisions. And I think once you know what your purpose is, it's a lot easier. If you're someone who sits at your desk all day and you're thinking, man, this is not for me. Like, I don't want to be here. I don't want to be doing this job. I don't want to be wasting the prime years I've been given by the creator, sitting at this desk, doing spreadsheets, sending emails, taking calls, cold calling people, making coffees, going to the toilet and sitting in there for 10 minutes just to pass time. That's not very purposeful. And if you're someone who actively thinks in this way, you need to find that purpose. And the reality is, what the real reality is that I've found on this journey? Everyone knows what their purpose is. Everyone knows what their purpose is. When you go home at night, you turn off the lights and you sit in your bed and you feel that chill down your body and you're like, man, I gotta go to work tomorrow, and you know what you would rather be doing. That is the purpose. It always comes to you at the worst times, and you feel that kind of cold, depressive feeling come over your body because you're not where you're supposed to be. You should be doing something else, but it's very hard to get out of the rat race, which is keeping you locked in. And it's very important to discover your true purpose before the workforce takes up too much of your life force. This is the equation which I think most people have fallen into in Western society, and it's quite crippling. And I've been there, and it's only now for me where I hit that road where it was like, either you jump off now and start getting on track with what really resonates with your soul and your spirit and the God-given abilities you have, or you're going to fall deeper into this hole to the point where now you have the mortgage, now you have the wife, now you have the family, and it's not so easy then to kind of pivot and change and do things a different way. So for men and for women, while you have, a bit of space, a bit of time in your life, and even for people who are married and have kids and, are already set up in that way, it's important for you to find that purpose for yourself and then try and figure a way where you can merge your life in a working sense, in a working capacity as far as earning money and being self-sufficient with what your purpose is. And that for me has a lot to do with sacrifice. In order to get to that place, sacrifice is going to be a core part of you getting yourself over that hill. And the sacrifice, as I said at the top of this conversation, is going to be a key test of whether you really want that thing. If you really want it, you're going to sacrifice whatever's required to get there, whether that's time, whether that's energy, whether that's money, whatever that thing is that you're going to have to give up to get to that thing. The sacrifice isn't going to be, it's not going to be hardship, because like I said, the connotations of sacrifice are hard. They're not easy. It's very difficult. Sacrifice has a very coarse texture to that word. But for people who truly understand their purpose, sacrifice is nothing. And like I said, I believe everyone has a purpose, and I also believe everyone already knows what that purpose is. The difficult thing is telling yourself the truth at the end of the day. Once you tell yourself the truth, it's very hard to go back. And, you know, I've got many episodes planned out. One of the things which is very important to me is if you're someone who doesn't want to lie to someone else, you can't lie to yourself. So at the end of the day, you know what the truth is. On some level, you know what your purpose is. And on some level, you know what you need to sacrifice to get to that purpose. The reality is you've got to be honest with yourself to get yourself to that position. It's not going to be easy. Nothing worth doing is, as we already know. It's a well-documented statement. But the reality is if you truly want this thing, if you believe it's your purpose, if your God-given abilities and talents align with this thing, you need to start sacrificing whatever it is stopping you from getting there. I kind of want to close it there because I don't want to say too much. I want to keep these episodes as tight to the topic as possible. Naturally, if there's any discourse you guys want to have in the comments, you know, send me your thoughts. I'll be in the comments responding to people and giving you, you know, additional notes and information, because I've got a lot of things written out here that I, you know, like I said, I don't want to go into all of it, but I think it's important to share as much of it as I can with you guys, because sacrifice to me has been fundamental for me to get to this point where I can share my opinions, share my views, and hopefully, you know, be at a place where this is benefiting not just me, but the people who are listening to it as well. I want to close this with a final note, which is a realization I had very recently, a couple nights ago, and I just thought it was very interesting. You know, I'm weird like this, and I just share these things. So the final note, if you made it this far, is this. And I'm reading this verbatim, just so you know, this isn't coming off the top of the head. But it's crazy to me that we have a battery that recharges every night, just like many of the electronic devices that we own. And while that battery recharges, we lay in our beds, essentially immersed in a virtual reality film. And yet there are people that will tell you somehow these are mere accidents. I mean, you'll find out along this journey with me that the prescribed accidental nature of our existence that people will push on you is just crazy to me. You know, everything has a reason, everything has a purpose. I'm hoping that through the things I share in this channel that more and more people, you know, what I think will be most beneficial, but what I'm gonna do over the course of these videos is to help you realize that your spirituality does not have to connect to a specific religion. It's all about realizing what is going on and connecting to that higher power. You are not in control. You don't have the free will you think you have either. And we're going to get into that later down the line as well. Free will is not your ability to pick what you want for dinner. Free will is your ability to control exactly what happens in the universe through fundamental understandings. I know I say fundamental a lot, but these things are not to be taken for granted. That's it from me. We're going to end it there. Like I said, you don't have to comment, you don't have to like, you don't have to share, you don't have to subscribe. I'm happy this channel doesn't have any subscribers, but there's enough people sharing it so that the information is reaching the people who need it most. That is my main concern. That is why I'm here. I know there's people that will benefit from these types of conversations. That's it from me. I'll catch you guys in episode 3. Peace.